about ready to play baseball as the Cubs go for a 3-game sweep. And, you know, and the Cubs pitching has been so brilliant. I'm just wondering, Steve, how much a part of this improved Cubs pitching has to do with the improved defense.
In the last 10 games, Harry, the Cubs have a 270 earned run average. They're sending Dick Ruthven to the mound, and the thing about Ruthven is he's 2-0, but we've won all 4 games that he's pitched in.
It's been a combination of timely hitting, alert base running, fine defense, and outstanding pitching. And the Cubs are leading the National League East at the moment.
This is the first time that's happened since May 24th, 1978. The Cubs are finally in first place by themselves. And you're right, Harry, the defense has a great deal to do with it.
All right, we're ready for the lineups now. And here they are. For the Cubs, Dernier in center field, Sandberg at second base, Moreland in left, Durham at first, Hall in right, Hebner at third, Davis the catcher, Verizor at shortstop, and Ruthven, who's 2-0 with a 3.58 earned run average, the pitcher. For the Cardinals, Lonnie Smith in left, Ozzie Smith at short, David Green at first, George Hendrick in right, Darrell Porter the catcher, Ken Oberkfell at third, Willie McGee in center, Mike Ramsey at second. As you watch Bob Forsch, who's 0-2 with an earned run average of 4.50 on the mound. The umpires, Dick Stello works the plate, John McSherry at first, Fred Brocklander at second, and Billy Williams at third. Dernier steps into the batter's box. Don Zimmer coaching at third base. John Vukovich at first. Dernier, who was 2 out of 4 last night, first pitch of the ball game. He tries to bunt his way on, but he pops a foul, which is unplayable, for a foul strike. Our good friend Dolan Walsh of Darcy Advertising, who probably puts together more sports broadcasts for Budweiser beer across the nation than anybody in history, watching the game from our booth here today. Here's the pitch on the way. Strike on the outside corner, a good slider.
Forsch had an in-and-out year last year for the Cardinals, 11-12, but he's got a good lifetime record against the Cubs. He's 15-8.
The pitch, a little bit low inside. Forsch has a reputation of loading him up now and then. 1-2 the count. Dernier fouls it off. Bright sunshine, a beautiful day. The improvement in visibility is a result of this new vivid verdant green turf at Busch Memorial Stadium. I'm sure it must be obvious to you. Base hit! Down the third base line, he's going to go for 2. And Dernier leads it off with a double to left. That a way to start the ball game.
Dernier, who was 2 for 5 yesterday, starts it off against Forsch. Bob Forsch hung a curveball. Dernier pounds it down the line. Now watch Lonnie Smith. He has some trouble with this ball. Finally coming up with it, getting it back, but a good start for the Cubs.
Here's Sandberg. He had 2 big hits last night, helping win that game 3-2. He was going to bunt his way on, or at least sacrifice. The pitch was low and outside. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody out. Dernier in scoring position, very fast. The pitch. He held up in time. They appeal. They say no. Ball 2. 2 balls. Oh, wait a minute now. On the appeal, I think he did call it a strike.
Well, Stello changed his mind. McSherry didn't make any signal, but Stello said yes, he did swing.
So it's evened up at a ball and a strike. Pick-out play. Look out, Dernier. Safe.
Harry, Larry Boa brought up a good point about being a selfish player and playing for the team. He said, you know, when the team is struggling and eliminated by June, it's difficult to be a team player, sacrificing yourself. When everything counts.
Look out, pick-out play again, and again he's safe. And And look at Ozzie Smith, even returning the ball to the pitcher, he does it quickly. A ball and a strike. Sandberg hitting .227. Ball is low and inside. Again, he's shortened up. 2 balls and a strike. Nobody out. A runner in scoring position.
If Rhino does bunt, it's going to be on his own. Popeye Zimmer at third base hasn't given him any sign, so he'll be on his own.
Ball 3. Can't get the breaking ball over. 3 balls and a strike. Keith Moreland on deck. One pitch. Swung and he missed a breaking ball, and he might have chased ball 4.
That shows you how much confidence Bob Forsch has in his curveball. He threw it 3-1 in a jam. He felt he could get it over, and it was a sharp breaking pitch.
3-2, big pitch coming up. Long drive, deep left center field, way back. McGee near the wall makes the catch. Dernier is going to advance to third easily after the catch. So Sandberg advances man anyway on a long drive in the straightaway center that Willie McGee caught.
Bobby Dernier took 2 steps down the line, then realized that Willie McGee was going to catch this one. He alertly tagged up. McGee has this ball all the way. You've got to really crush it to get it out in that part of the ballpark. On the play, Dernier moves to third.
Here's Moreland up there now. He's giving Gary Matthews a rest today with a day game after last night's night game. Slider outside. Now Moreland has had a good record against the pitching of Forsch. Fastball inside. Ball 2. Forsch has been pitching uphill. Infield back. Ground ball. That will score the run. Ozzie Smith with a long throw will get his man. 1-0 Cubs. Moreland gets an RBI.
Bob Forsch cannot pitch from behind. If he does, he's got to make a lot of pitches like this one. Take a little off and get it over to Moreland. Moreland, his 4th RBI of the year, and for Forsch to be successful, he's got to stay right on top of the hitters.
Here's Durham now. Curveball in there, a beauty. Boy, he has thrown a slew of curveball. 0-1 the count. Leon with 3 hits in the series. He raised his average of .341. Ground ball hit. Nice play by David Green, the pitcher covering. He's out on a close play. Nice play all the way around, both by Forsch getting over there and David Green going behind the bag. 1 run, 1 hit. No errors, nobody left. We go into the bottom of the 1st. Cubs out in front, 1-0. Harry Caray back at Busch Stadium in St. Louis, where the Cubs are leading 1-0. Lonnie Smith has fouled off the first pitch. Dick Ruthven on the hill. Curveball swung on, might be playable over near the stands. Durham, no chance. Foul, strike 2.
Ruthven has been out 4 times this year. In his first game against San Francisco, he won it. Second game against San Diego, we won 8-5. The third game, he beat New York. And we won a 5-4 decision against Pittsburgh. So Ruthven has been 4 for 4.
Here's a pitch and it's strike. Great call. Lonnie Smith is 0 for 6 in the series. Here's Ozzie Smith coming up.
Interesting thing about Dick Ruthven is that he strengthened himself in the offseason. He used to work with Gus Heffling in Philadelphia, but this winter, the Phillies locked him out of the weight room. They wouldn't let him work out with the team because he was opponent.
Here's Ozzie Smith and a little bit outside. Ball 1. 1 man out, nobody on. Cubs out in front, 1-0. Bright, sunshiny day. There's a base hit like a bullet, and Ozzie Smith is on. Smith singles sharply to center. I'll bring up David Green. Richie Hebner playing third. Got nothing to do with him hitting the game-winning home run last night. he was going to play third today regardless. As manager Jim Fry rests some of his veterans because of the early start on a day game following a long, tense night game. David Green, the batter. Curve a little high.
Green could improve his batting average by about 20 points if he could learn to bunt down the third baseline. He's so strong, the opponents just move way back. Richie Hebner is about 8 steps in back of the bag at third. Any bunt is a sure base hit.
And he's lightning fast, this Green. There goes a runner. Fouled, and I'm glad he swung because Ozzie Smith had a tremendous jump. That evens a count, a ball and a strike.
Ozzie's hitting the ball a little better this year. He's hitting .250 coming in, but he's got 7 RBIs, a departure from his previous years.
1-1 the pitch. Quick throw. Fast tag by Durham, but he's back safely. Ruffin has a little trouble holding runners on because of his pitching motion. They've worked on him and they've shortened it up a little bit. Fouled it out of plays ahead of him now on the count, 1-2.
Dick used to have that conventional pitcher's stretch where he brought his hands down to his waist. Then it took him a long time to deliver the ball to home plate. They've worked on it. Now he stops right up around the letters, keeps his hands there. Sometimes will throw to first or home from that motion.
Now ready. There goes the runner. There's the throw. Stolen base. And the tying run at second base is Ozzie Smith. Beats the throw easily.
No chance to get Ozzie on this ball. Jody makes a good throw, but Ozzie head first well ahead of the tag. And for Jody, that's 5 out of the last 10 runners have been successful. That's below the league average of .333 for successful thefts.
So Green now with a man in scoring position. Ozzie's 2 out of 2 in stolen bases. He's going to try to steal third to throw. Save! Jody was very slow with his delivery because I think he had trouble getting the ball out of the glove.
Ruthven only made 1 look to second base. He didn't vary his timing at all. It's a difficult ball to throw because it's low and away, and Ozzie steals another one.
Now they have a runner at third with only 1 out, and the count 3-2 on Green. And Ruthven really needs a strikeout right here. Here's a ground ball. The game is tied over the first for the out. And the Cardinal fans roar. Boy, we made our run cheaply and easily, and they made their run cheaply and easily.
That's got to be the way the Cardinals win. Whitey Herzog has been imploring his team to get aggressive and start running. And Ozzie Smith was running right out of the gate today. He actually stole a run.
Here's George Hendrick now, the pitch. Strike over the outside corner to me. David Green has driven in his 7th run of the year. There's a curve a little bit outside to even the count. A cut at a breaking ball and he missed. Well, Pete Van Auken's Peoria Chiefs won a doubleheader at Springfield last night. They're dancing in the streets in Peoria. Foul ball back. Just like they've been dancing in the streets in Chicago and throughout the land. Boy, the television ratings on the Cubs' victory over the Cardinals last night were almost unbelievable. 1-2 pitch. That evens a count at 2-2. Ruthven hasn't quite hit his rhythm yet. My God! 2-2 pitch. High drive, left center field. Darn near a sensational play. Oh, Holy cow. There you had a classic example of why the Cubs pitching has been better this year.
He actually outran the ball. When the ball went up, you didn't think anybody had a shot at it, but Dernier, off with the crack of the bat, makes a waist-high backhanded grab.
So at the end of one, it's tied at 1. Caray and Steve Stone back at Busch Memorial Stadium, where each team scored a run in the first. It's tied up 1-1. Cubs will be home next week. And Saturday, May the 5th, when they host the Padres, who are leading the Western Division, every youngster 13 and under will receive a beautiful sports equipment bag. Absolutely free. There you see it. Here's Hall, ground ball. David Green, easy out. Hall is 0 for 6 in this series.
Bob Porsche is experiencing some back problems. They've really plagued him since the end of spring training. He thinks he has them worked out. And the Cardinals, who have had a lot of injuries, can't afford for one of their starting pitchers to be injured for any length of time.
Here's Hebner, 4 out of 6 for the year, including last night's thrilling game-winning home run in the 9th. 1 out, nobody on. Ball game in the 2nd inning, tied up. Here's a pitch high. 2 balls, no strikes on Hebner.
That home run last night was his 199th of his career. He's hit 28 against St. Louis.
Ball 3, low and inside. Remember last night, his first time at bat, I said that he had hit many home runs against the Cardinals, and his second time up, he hit one to win it. Ball 4 on 4 pitches.
Porsche cannot afford to walk batters because his strikeout ratio is one of the lowest in the major leagues for any starter. Last year, he only struck out 56 men in 187 innings. He walked 54, so his control is usually pretty much on the mark.
1 on, 1 out. Jody Davis, the batter, 1 out of 7 in the series. Low and outside. Davis, with 1 homer this year, 14 runs batted in, hitting .327. Ordinarily hits very well against the Cardinals pitching. He was once with the Redbirds, you know. Ball too low. 6 pitches in a row without a strike.
This is a time for Davis to take a look and think fastball and just go after one. He's fallen behind with the breaking ball. If he throws something else, he should take it. Let's see if he gets the fastball.
Curveball, strike called. He gets his breaking ball over. 2 balls and a strike. And that's why Porsche has hung around the major leagues, because he can do that. The runner at first base is Hebner, 1 away. Line drive, base hit into left field. Jody really timed that breaking ball perfectly. Watch his swing on the replay.
Sometimes a pitcher will fall in love with his breaking ball, and Bob Porsche appears to have done it today. Now watch. The 4th curveball in a row to Jody Davis, and even though it was a pretty good one, it hung up a little bit, and Jody pounded it to left.
Here's Verizon hitting only 182, playing in place of Larry Boa, giving the Cub captain a rest today. Runners at first and second, 1 out. The pitcher, Dick Ruthven, will be next. Low. Boy, Porsche is really struggling with his control. 1 out, runners at first and second. Tom Verizon, utility infielder. Line drive, left field base hit. Will the runner be able to score? Here he comes. Here's the throw coming towards the plate, and it is not in time. Verizon ripped a single to left. The Cubs have taken the lead 2-1 as Hebner slides across the plate.
The scouting report on Lonnie Smith is run on him every opportunity you get. Lonnie gets to the ball in a hurry, but he doesn't have much of an arm. Zimmer knows that. He just keeps waving Hebner around. And that walk to Hebner comes back to haunt Forsch as Hebner scores the second Cub run.
2-1 in favor of the Cubs. Here's the pitcher, Dick Ruthven. Ruthven has had 3 hits this year. All 3 have been doubles. A pitch. Swung a line drive into right center, a base hit. Another man is going to score. A runner going towards third. Here's a throw. Out at third base. Boy, oh boy, Verizon must have had a piano on his back. Holy cow. Look at this base hit. And watch where Hendrick has to run to get it.
Well, Hendrick is not the man to run on. He's got a phenomenal arm. He comes over and cuts down Verizon at third. Watch the throw. He short hops it. A bullet throw to third base.
Boy, is he.
He's out easily.
And Ruthven is 4 out of 10 as a hitter. Here now is Dernier. Jody Davis scored, though, but Verizon is out. From Hendrick to Oberkfell. There's a strike call. Arnie, our producer and director, keeps emphasizing how much better you can see the ball on this new turf. It used to be hard to pick up because it was a sort of a light gray turf before. Now it's a very deep green. 3-1 in favor of the Cubs. Ground ball foul. Broke his bat on that one. You're watching Chicago Cubs baseball over WGN Channel 9, Chicago, America's #1 sports station, where you'll see all the highlights tonight at 9 o'clock. Dernier opened the ball game with a double to left and scored the first run. Forsch trailing 3-1. There's a left-hander getting ready in the bullpen. Fly ball, right center field, may drop. Hey, did he make the catch? He did. Sensational play by George Hendrick. That cost the Cubs another run. What a magnificent backhanded shoestring catch.
It was a great inning defensively for Hendrick. There you can see he makes the catch cleanly. The play called by John McSherry.
2 runs on 3 hits. No errors and 1 left. We go to the bottom of the second. The Cubs 3, the Cardinals 1. Harry Caray back at Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. You know, George Hendrick playing right field pitched a better inning than Bob Forsch did.
He had a great inning. That's the capabilities he has. And the Cardinals had a decision when they moved David Green to first base. They decided to put George back in the outfield. They figured both players were better at the positions they were moving him to. Certainly has shown that Hendrick is a pretty good right fielder.
There's Porter to lead it off. You know, in 16 games this year, the pitchers of the Cubs have had 10 hits. Ruthven and Trout each have 4 to lead. Here's a slow quarter to Porter low. Well, this buds for you. The pitch. Swung and he missed. How can they make it taste so good and sell it so cheap?
I don't know how Arnie's able to get those sound effects when you're drinking that, Harry. He does a great job in the truck.
Boy, does that hit the spot, though. The pitch. Slow curve. And he swung and he missed. Boy, he was trying to go downtown.
And there's a case of getting a pitch, expecting the pitch, being ready for it, and still missing it because it was in a good spot.
Dave Palmer, pitching for Montreal, pitched a 5-inning perfect game against the Cardinals last Saturday. Fastball missed with it. Today, he retired the first 10 men he faced before Ron Gardenhire singled for the Mets. 2-2 pitch. Slow curve, and he fouled it off.
I was in this park when Jim Barr set the all-time record for consecutive men retired. It was 41 men, and he threw the last 7 innings perfect in Pittsburgh. Then he came here, and Bernie Carbo finally broke it up. But 41 straight men retired is an enormous feat.
Well, Palmer is retired 25 in a row before Gardenhire's single. 2-2 pitch. Ball 3. Ruthven is really struggling, just like Forsch. At the moment, though, he's better off than Forsch because he leads 3-1.
Forsch hasn't come to bat yet, though. He's a pretty good hitter also.
Ground ball. Durham will take it himself. 1 out. Here's Obergfell. Another left-hand hitter.
I talked to the Bull before the game, and he said that he's starting just now to get comfortable back at first base again. He said that rocket yesterday he picked off the bat of Darryl Porter, hit him in the body. He just pulled it off his body and retired him. But every day he starts to look more comfortable and smoother at first.
1 out, nobody on. Obergfell takes a pitch a little bit low. 3-1 in favor of the Cubs, hoping to apply the broom to the Cardinals. Going for a sweep. Oh, he's struggling too. Ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. 1 out. Ground ball. Pitcher covers, easy out. From Durham to Ruthven. 2 up, 2 down. Here's Willie McGee.
Batting 7th, number 51, center fielder, Willie McGee.
McGee hitting .273. Switch hitter. 1 homer this year. 6 RBIs. Lightning fast. Slow curve of beauty.
McGee a little bit better hitter from the left side. He's hitting .283 from that side. I think it's just a question of getting another step. He's got 5 infield hits.
He slices it. Whoa, look out. Moreland, don't get hurt. We have a Hall playing left field. Moreland is in right. Mel almost went head over heels over that railing.
Watch it again, and I think Mel thinks he has a pretty good view from the stands. Here you see him go almost into the first row.
2 men out. 0-2 the count of Willie McGee. Bouncing ball. Sandberg, a great play, but McGee beats it out. You know, I think Sandberg intentionally threw the ball into that AstroTurf, thinking he could get more off the bounce than he could on his throw through the air.
He did, Harry, and the first player in the major leagues to try that was Davey Concepcion. And the ball does pick up speed on the first hop off the AstroTurf, but McGee with that lightning speed down to first beats it. That's his 6th infield hit of the year.
Here's Ramsey hitting 111. 3-1 in favor of the Cubs. Now McGee. Will be probably trying to steal. These guys love to run. High fly ball. Forget about this inning. Hall is there waiting. He's got it to retire the side. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. At the end of 2. Cubs 3, Cardinals 1. Harry Caray back at Busch Memorial Stadium. This is Mike Gerard. He was Executive Vice President, in charge of marketing for Anheuser-Busch. I guess you guys will be happy when we leave town.
I can't tell you how happy we'll be to pay for your transportation out, Harry.
How's everything going?
Everything is wonderful. Things are going very well. Sales are extremely good. We love Chicago, but we wish you'd leave town.
Good to see you. Take
Thanks,
care.
Harry.
Mike Rarity, an executive genius, boy. We go into the top of the third inning. And here's Sandberg trying to bunt his way on.
Sandberg remains the only Cub player to play every inning of every game. So Rhino has proved to be an Iron Man, and when you watch us play around second base, you know why Fry is hesitant to have him out of the lineup.
Fouls it out of play. 2 balls and a strike to count. The Cubs lead in the National League East by half a game over Philadelphia and Montreal. San Diego leads in the West by a game and a half over the Dodgers. Detroit leads in the American League East by 5.5 over Toronto, and they're 10 ahead of Baltimore. Seattle leads in the West by a half a game over Oakland and California. There's a dry foul. White Sox, surprisingly, are last in the American League West, but only 3 games out. Baltimore last in the East, 10 games out. Cincinnati. There's a ground ball. Watch Ozzie Smith. You know, Steve, he doesn't have a strong arm, but he gets it away so quickly.
I think if you were going to grade his arm, if you were a scout and you were watching him play sandlot ball, you might grade it average, maybe a little below average for a Major League shortstop. But, Harry, every time somebody hits the ball, Ozzie's there.
And he throws everybody out easily. Here's Moreland driving a run on the first. There's a breaking ball in there for a strike call. Cal Ripken Jr. hit number 7 last night. He's tied with Dave Kingman for the Major League home run lead. 1 out, nobody on. Low and outside. Boy, the Angels came from behind. Beat the Red Sox at Fenway last night. Pounded out 16 hits. Just think, if they could turn that bunch of hairy-chested sluggers loose in Seattle or Fenway as their home park, you'd never get them out.
You might never get to bat, though, Harry, with their pitching staff.
Yeah. They win 8-7, 9-8. Breaking ball, he was fooled on, but he fouled it off.
And the Cardinals, inexplicably, on the year are 3-9 against right-handed pitchers. They were usually what the Cardinals cleaned up against because of their tremendous speed from the left side. But this year, the Redbirds are having problems. In their last 7 games, they've only scored 11 runs.
1 out, nobody on. Chased a high breaking ball that time, a high slider, and then fouled it back. Bob Forsch, veteran right-hander. He's 34 years old. Ground ball. Now watch Ozzie. He'll throw him out easily. 2 up, 2 down. Ozzie Smith has made 1 error this season. Our Larry Boas made only 1 error, I believe. 2 errors. 2 and out, nobody on. Durham fouls it off. Bright sunshine, a beautiful day here in St. Louis. He didn't mean to swing. He tried to check, but he had gone around. And the Cubs open up at home May the 4th against San Diego. And May the 5th is Sports Equipment Day. Sports Equipment Bag Day. That's for the youngsters. Great to carry your summer gear around in. Following day, the 6th of Sunday, is Tote Bag Day. Tell you more about that later. That's for the adults. Popped it up. Ozzie Smith. So for the first time, the Cubs are down in order. 1, 2, 3. Nothing across. We go into the bottom of the 3rd. Cubs 3, Cardinals won.
Friday, May 4th is
Caray back in St. Louis where the Cubs are leading 3-1. The Cubs' first adult promotional date is all set. Sunday, May the 6th. Every adult will receive a Cubs blue and white tote bag as they enter the park. This handy tote bag is made of a heavy-duty rayon material, perfect for carrying your camera or swimsuit or beverages or any other summertime item. So get your tote bag Sunday, May the 6th. Here's a good hitting pitcher, Bob Forsch, who started his career originally as a third baseman. Bouncing ball, Verizon should throw him out, and he does. One away. Forsch has a brother pitching for the California Angels.
I don't know if he's pitching now, Harry. He separated his shoulder a little bit on a play at first base. That was a big blow to the Angels.
left fielder, Lonnie Smith.
There's Lonnie Smith out on strikes his first time up.
How would you like to have to face the Connie Mack team in Compton, California? They had both Lonnie and Ozzie on the same club. You think they stole some bases against those young catchers?
What do you mean against the young catchers? They're not doing badly against these old catchers either.
That's what I mean. They must have run those guys out of the park.
Foul ball and a strike, one out. Third inning, 3-1 Cubs. Well, he fooled him on that play. Knocks the ball down. Look at that backhanded flip. Ruthven must have played a little basketball as a kid.
Well, he figured he was going to dribble that one for a while and then backhand him. And that's what he did. He couldn't come up with the handle on this. When he finally does, he has some time, and he goes, wait a second, wait a second. Okay, I'll get you out.
Backhanded pass. 2 out. Here's Ozzie Smith. He can do no wrong with these fans, and he does do no wrong. He is just brilliant. Strike call. He got their first hit, stole 2 bases, second and third, and scored their only run on an infield out. Now he bunts foul. There's, remember when we showed you the ski cap of Keith Moreland Tuesday night? Now look at it today. 82 degrees. As you can tell from the adornment, or lack of it, on that young lady. There's another tap to the pitcher. What an easy inning for Ruthven. 1, 2, 3, nothing across. Milo will be joining Steve in a moment. This is Harry Caray at Busch Memorial Stadium in St. Louis. We're at the end of 3. The Cubs are leading 3-1.
Jim Gettleman.
We're going into the 4th inning. Hello again. Milo Hamilton joining Steve Stone now in the middle. And, hey, things are going pretty well here. You don't suppose we could leave here and go to Pittsburgh with a zip jab on these Redbirds in their park, do you?
Well, Ruthven has finally settled down a little bit, Milo. He's only given him 2 hits, and after a rocky start, he's come back to throw strikes. As usual, he hasn't walked anybody, and hopefully we can get to Bob Forsch for just a few more here early.
Mel Hall leading off in the 4th. Looks at ball 1. He bounced out to the first baseman in the 2nd inning. The Cubs have out hit them 4-2. Lead in the score 3-1. There have been no errors on either side. Fouled out of play, back to the left, and it's 1-1 to Mel Hall. When we get to Pittsburgh, hey, there's the way to say, Pop, show me around at the ballpark, huh?
Good way to also keep the sun off your head.
She can spot the vendors better that way. Line down the right side. It's a fair ball. It'll kick down into the corner. Hall heading for second. And he will pull in with a double. So Hall starts the 4th inning with a double against Bob Forsch.
I think one of the telling offensive statistics for the Cubs, as we take a look at a vicious double by Mel Hall, is that the Cubs have hit 14 home runs this year, Milo. but 9 have come from the 6th inning on, and 6 of them have come from the 8th inning on, which shows you that unlike last year, when they're hitting home runs, they're hitting them in situations that can win the ball game.
Very good point. And I'll tell you this, when you look up and see those homers that help you win, total home runs are often deceiving. Here is Hebner, walked in the 2nd inning. That started a 2-run inning for the Cubs. Lined and slicing out into center, and that ball will slice and drop in front of McGee. Hall will come home. Hebner got to hit the dirt, and he's safe with a double. Back-to-back doubles for the Cubbies against Busch, and Hebner continues his fine hitting. He's 3 for 3 in this series.
Well, Chuck Tanner would love to have this guy back, but fortunately he's playing in a Cub uniform, and Richie Hebner, his 3rd RBI of the year. Mel Hall scoring, and Hebner's not content with a single. He just keeps it going and slides easily into second base.
Catcher Jody Davis.
It is now a 4-1 lead, and Jody Davis the hitter.
I talked with Chuck Tanner and a couple people over at Pittsburgh, and they were a little surprised that Hebner didn't wait a little bit longer. The Pittsburgh management said, hey, be patient. We're trying to get Kecalve signed and a couple of other players. But Hebner said, look, how long can I wait? I'm not going to come to spring training unsigned, and I have an offer here in Chicago. He eventually took it, which was the best thing for him, and it's turning out to be the best thing for the Cubs.
Well,
Entering the game to pitch for the Cardinals, number 32, Jack Lottie.
all right, they're going to change pitchers here. It's going to be Horton, I believe.
It's Lottie, I think, Milo. Horton was
Horton
throwing
was
earlier.
throwing.
And they felt that with Verizor, Davis, and Ruthven coming up, the right-handers, they would go to Lottie. But Bob Forsch did not have it. Possibly he's still plagued by that back problems.
All right, you know, Gary Matthews, Cub fans have seen him make some spectacular plays over the years against us, and he made a couple great ones in this series. Going to have Gary maybe decide what he thinks was one of the best. Gary?
Well, actually, I think really the ball that Kingman hit really was the toughest, because the ball was out of the ballpark, and I backhand the ball as I was coming back down. The other catch I think that was pretty tough was Ron's, because it was really close to the cement wall there in Chicago. The catch out here last night on Ozzy's ball, that was one of the balls that was, he hit the ball pretty good. It was hit toward left center, and I got a pretty good jump on it, although I almost slipped. And mainly what I was trying to do was just try and really hold on to the ball, and I made it, and I rolled over. And with it being wet, I think I skidded a little bit more than what I had anticipated. Okay, usually when I'm up, when I'm in the field, I'm always anticipating the ball really being hit to me, and when it's not, I'm really surprised. And I caught that ball, and I had it really all the way, and I just, like I do, I don't really catch them easy, but I catch them, and as long as you're getting really results, I think there's nothing anybody else can say, really.
Oh, nice feature, Arnie, and he has made some catches, I want to tell you. And it's nice to know he's wearing that Cubby blue right now, too. You talked about Hebner being on our side.
Well, he's getting a day off today, and Jim Fry has gone with his philosophy of playing all 25 men whenever he can, and today we take a look at Hebner and Verizor. It's nice to see a lineup with that flexibility.
This is Jody Davis, ball one. And you know, with a fellow like Boa, also Say, and Matthews, it's almost now like having 3 days off with the open date tomorrow and don't play till Friday night. You can really rejuvenate those juices with that kind of time off. Bouncer, right side. Only players to first. Jody does his job.
And if you watch Jody's stroke on this ball, he is absolutely giving himself up. He's not going to get a base hit. It's a difficult pitch to move the runner along, but he does. He hits to the other side. Watch the swing by Jody. It's a defensive swing. All he's trying to do is hit a ground ball. He realizes another run would be helpful, and he moves Hebner over to third.
Here's Verizor. Had a run batted in with a base hit in the second inning. He drove in the second run. There's a high pop right side. Green by the coach's box. 2 down. Verizor in a key spot there. just didn't get it in play enough and didn't dip that shoulder and try to give it a little ride to the outfield. So he's out, popping up to first. And Ruthven, who helped himself by driving in the third Cub run, that came in the second inning. Let's see if he can pick up the club right here. Cubs are in front 4-1. They've out hit the Redbirds 6-2. After 16 games last year, the Cubs were 8 under. Coming into today, they're 4 over, a 12-game swing in the matter of a year. Grounder to second, easy play. Side retired, but the Cubs pick up another run on back-to-back doubles by Hall and Hebner. 1 run, 1 hit. We played into the middle of the fourth. The Cubs are in front of the Redbirds 4-1. In the bottom of the fourth, Dick Ruthven, now with a 3-run lead, will be looking at Green, Hendrick, and Porter. So Forsch, who hasn't won a game this year, wasn't sharp here today. Yes, the weather has warmed up. I knew it had when I came over in this booth and saw Stoney working without a sport coat on.
Beautiful day, and you got to take advantage of it. After some of the weather that we had in Chicago this last homestand, it was a pleasure to come back here and all of a sudden see the sun, nice 80-degree temperatures. And Dick Ruthven was saying before the game, and it's kind of an interesting point, he said when he was young he really liked cool weather, and now he likes warmer weather. And I said, but you were always in shape. Usually the guys a couple of pounds overweight like the cool weather. And he said he just feels he can get looser in warm weather. So this is a day when he should have some of his best stuff.
All right, he's got a 3-run lead right now to work with. David Green, who drove in the run in the first inning with a bounce out to Sandberg, will lead it off. Green is 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs in this series. Hendrick on deck. Then it'll be Darrell Porter. And the pitch by Rufus. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs playing in their 17th game today. They're playing the Cardinals for the 6th time. They've taken 4 out of the first 5. Strike. And maybe an advantage to playing the Redbirds at this time. They're struggling. Because you got to believe when we see them in June, they'll be doing something differently. 2 balls and a strike.
Well, they're just having a lot of problems putting runners on base, and when they do, they can't score them. They're only averaging 6 hits a game over the last 10 games. That's un-Cardinal-like.
Now, it's 3-1. Jody telling Rufus he's not doing something right delivering. You know, coming into this game, the 2 Smiths and Hendrick, for instance, were 0 for 20 in this series. That's a trio that has to do something for you one way or another. 0 for 20. Pretty well tells their story. Big bouncer short. Great big hop for Tom Verizor. Good strong throw, and it's 1 away. That's coming back and getting him.
Anytime the table setters are having trouble getting on base, and by the table setters, we're talking about the 2 Smiths hitting 1-2. If you're keeping them off the bases consistently, it takes a whole lot away from the Cardinal offense. They don't have that power-laden offense. The only man who can really carry the club is Hendrick. He's not hitting for power, and the other guys aren't getting on base.
Swinging and popping it, and it's playable over here to the left for Jody, over by the on-deck circle, and Hendrick is out on 1 swing, popping it up to Jody Davis. Since McGee had the single in the second inning, 6 have been retired in order now by Ruthven, and that'll bring up catcher Darrell Porter. He bounced out to Durham in the second inning. Three games in Pittsburgh, Friday night, Saturday night, and Sunday. 2 games in New York, Tuesday night, Wednesday night. They'll all be yours on Channel 9. 1 ball, no strikes. Nobody on here, 2 away. The times in Pittsburgh, 6:30 Friday, 6 o'clock Saturday, 12:30 Sunday. Ball 2. Cubs with 4 runs, 6 hits. Cardinals 1 run, 2 hits. 2-0 pitch. Right at the shortstop, who had him played perfectly. Verizor gets him, and it's 3 up and 3 down. We have played through 4 in the finale of a 3-game series as the Cubs are attempting a sweep here today. They're in front of the Cardinals right now, 4-1. Going to the 5th inning, and the top of the order do Bob Dernier, Ryan Sandberg, and Keith Moreland.
We didn't have a chance to tell you about Jeff Lottie. He's 0-1, a .511 earned run average, making his 8th appearance. We saw him here Tuesday night. He pitched an inning and gave up a run. He came over from Cincinnati for Jose Brito. He's got a pretty good fastball. He keeps it down, throws breaking pitches, and usually pitches in the middle for the Cardinals.
Dernier takes a strike. Bobby today, he started the game with a double and scored. Second inning was robbed of a hit by Hendrick in right center field. I really thought that ball was going to drop, and then when Hendrick gambled and dove, I had visions of it bouncing behind him. Bouncer short, fast man running, but Ozzie takes one big bounce out of it and throws out the speedy Dernier. One down in the 5th inning. The way Dernier runs, if Hendrick had not come up with that ball that he did finally catch off of him in the 2nd, Bobby would have ended up at 3rd easy.
He's shown us today he's a pretty good right fielder. When you're shuttled around through a few different positions, it's difficult to get your timing, but he was told in spring training, it's right field for you, big guy.
Sandberg takes a cut, comes up empty. Well, all Hendrick did in that inning was make 2 great plays, threw out a runner at 3rd, then made the great play on Dernier. Probably kept the Cubs from getting another run or 2. Their bullpen is starting to work again. Boy, he powder-rivered him right there.
Good fastball, and there you take a look at the left-hander, and it's, well, it looks like Ricky Horton. That's it, 6'2", 195 pounds. Horton, who throwing earlier, now gets up again.
Wasted 1, 1 and 2. Their pitcher is due up 4th in the bottom of the inning. So they're preparing for getting a man on or so. Ruthven might have something to say about that. Squibs it off to the end of the bat. Foul, 1 and 2. Sandberg 0 for 2 today, and in this series is 2 for 11. But last night came out of it late in the game with a couple of hits and helped the Cubs win 3-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Laid off of it that time. Boy, didn't miss by much either. Now it's 2 and 2. Nobody on base for the Cubs in the 5th inning. 1 down. Sandberg the batter. Moreland due up next. Lottie brings a 2-2. High. And it's a full count to Sandberg. The fans and the media had complained here over the last few years about the AstroTurf in this park. There's a bouncer to 3rd. Great big hop for Oberkfell. Throws out Sandberg, and it's 2 down. If you sat down low, it was very difficult to pick up the ball while you were a spectator here. And as far as broadcasting a game, you almost had to wait for an infielder or an outfielder. And you can really tell the difference in the dark green here today as skipper the Redbirds looks on. All is not serene for the rat, as they call him, Whitey Herzog. Moreland has driven in the 1st, then in the 3rd inning, shortstop threw him out again. 1 ball, no strikes. Durham would be next. 1 ball, 1 strike. Boy, Lottie moves in and out, doesn't he?
He throws the ball pretty well. Talking about the AstroTurf, Milo, not only is it better looking, but the players say it's a lot softer. Buckner said it was softer.
2 balls and a.
He feels that over the course of the year, it's going to really take a lot of shock off the knees of the Cardinal players. You come up with a lot of leg injuries on AstroTurf, especially this one. This one was very hard and very burned out by the sun.
Strike, 2 and 2. Well, especially with all the heat you get here, that asphalt underneath, they redid the underneath of this AstroTurf as well. They really did the whole renovation. 3 up, 3 down as Moreland chases a pitch way down and out. So 3 up, 3 down for Lottie. He's retired 6 in a row since coming out of their bullpen. Halfway through this game. Middle of the 5th after 4 1/2. The Cubs 4 runs, 6 hits. The Cardinals 1 run, 2 hits. All right. Fun at the old ballpark, and we're going to the bottom of the 5th with Oberkfell, McGee, and Ramsey do against Ruthven. You know, there is still time and excellent seating locations available for the Cubs Business Plan season ticket program. The business plan provides you with the same great seat for 18 of the midweek 305 games at Wrigley Field this season. The business plan, new this year, has become one of the Cubs' most popular season ticket packages for 84. Reasonably priced, the business plan is tailored for entertaining your favorite clients. Oberkfell and Verizon not able to head it off. Didn't come up for him. You got to make that play as you're gliding toward the bag. You got to get a little bounce. Didn't get enough, and it's through for a base hit. So 3, 6, 7 in a row. That string stopped now, and Oberkfell is on with his second hit of the series. It's the Cardinals' third hit of the afternoon, and here is Willie McGee, 1 for 1. So why don't you call the Cubs season ticket sales office? You can do it right now. They're open this afternoon, 312-281-5050. Sign up for this season ticket package, and I think you'll be glad you did. Lined into right center, it'll take off and roll. Oberkfell will be waved. McGee can fly. He's headed for third. And a run is in, and there's still nobody out. A triple for Willie McGee gets Oberkfell home in front of him, and now it's a 4-2 game.
The 7th RBI for Willie McGee. Watch Keith Moreland after he starts chasing this one. When he gets to the ball, for some reason, he throws down his hat. There you see the hat is off the redhead, but he still can't cut down Oberkfell as McGee coasts into third.
So now a run that could make it a 1-run game is only 90 feet away in the person of the speedster McGee. And Van Slyke will bat for Ramsey.
Steve Braun is on deck, so he's going to hit for Lottie. And Ruthven has some problems as the Cub bullpen starts to get busy. There you can see Rich Bordy starting to stir, so he'll get up and throw. Some problems as the Redbirds are starting to make some noise here in the bottom of the 5th.
Van Slyke batting .257, 1 homer, 2 RBIs. Low outside, a ball.
He said last night there was nobody on earth could hit that 3-2 pitch from Lee Smith. Said it was moving away on the outside corner at 98 miles an hour.
He struck him out to win the game. There's a base hit into left field. The run is in. Ruthven has given up 3 straight hits. Hall got over and got that ball in a hurry. Gets by at second, but Durham backing up. Now it's a 1-run game. Van Slyke getting his first hit of the series and of the year against us.
Well, Hall gets this ball in a hurry because Van Slyke has some ideas about going to second. McGee scores the 3rd run. The ball gets by Sandberg, but a lesson to all you infielders: get in line with the ball. Leon Durham alertly backing up Sandberg, and now Jim Fry has made the walk out to the mound. He wants to find out if Ruthven is okay. Bordy is not near ready yet, so he can't make a change. He just wants to kill a little time, give him some time to get loose in the pen. Hopefully Dick can get through this one. We can come in and get a shot at Horton, who's going to come into the game for the Cardinals.
All right, Braun will be the pinch hitter, Steve Braun. By being able to deliver off that bench has prolonged his big league career. Tying run is on base in the person of Van Slyke at first. Braun is 3 for 10. Driven in a couple of runs. Crowds him, ball 1.
He's only 1 for 7 as a pinch hitter, but here's a guy who generally delivers in that particular role. He doesn't have very good speed. He's a good man to start thinking about a double play.
Ball 1. He's 0 for 2 in this series and 0 for 3 for the year against Cubs pitching. Ruthven could settle down here now. The runner going, swinging, base hit into right field. Van Slyke will go to third. Moreland's throw will come to Sandberg. 4 straight hits off Ruthven. So as puzzling as he had been to the Cardinals, in the second, third, and fourth. He hasn't been a puzzle at all in the fifth.
He's going to have to figure this one out from the dugout because Jim Fry is coming out. Rich Bordy will be coming in, and for Ruthven, a disappointing performance here today. He had a 3-run lead going into the fifth. He's going to leave this one 3 outs short of a possible victory, but more important, 2 Cardinals on the bases, the tying and go-ahead run. Lonnie Smith will be the hitter that Rich Bordy will face.
Oh, he really did a turnaround. I'm talking about Ruthven. Just look, as you said, it just looked like after a little wobbly first when he gave up a run that he had found his groove and got out of it just as quickly.
Bordy hasn't given up an earned run yet. He's making his 4th appearance. He's only thrown 3 innings and given up 2 hits, struck out a couple, hasn't walked anybody. And he's going to be in a situation where they'll start thinking about a double play. The Cubs will trade the run for a double play in this situation. And Lonnie Smith is even more dangerous because he is 0 for 7 in the series coming into this at bat.
So Bordy, he throws that heavy sinker. Boy, you'd like to have him get one in the right spot here and get that double play.
Well, he caught a break and he's making the most of it. He wasn't supposed to go north with the club, but a couple injuries to Warren Brewster and Rick Russell made a couple spots available on that pitching staff, and Rich Bordy claimed one of them. He had a nice spring. He's thrown the ball very well in his brief appearances up here. So far, he's been able to show them that he can pitch a little bit, and that is helping him stay in the major leagues.
So the Cardinals put it on a rush here. They have scored twice. They've had 4 straight hits in the inning. They've sent Ruthven to an early shower after it looks like he had been rolling along. But if you will, even when it happens to you as it did here, that's one of the charms of this game. You can't take anything for granted.
Morty only took 6 warm-up pitches. When you come into the game, you're allowed 8. But he figures that he had enough time to get loose. Hopefully he'll be right. And Dickie Knowles has also grabbed a ball and is throwing in the Cub bullpen.
All right, Bordy has a job to do, and he's looking at the top of the order. Van Slyke at third, Braun at first, and there's a looping liner that will drop over Sandberg's head for another hit, and the game is tied. RBI single for Lonnie Smith, his first hit of the series, and we're 4-4.
The 8th RBI of the year for Lonnie, who goes opposite way, hits it off the end of the bat, and just barely gets it over the head of Sandberg. There you can see Van Slyke, who came in with a pinch hit this inning, scoring the tying run.
5 straight hits, still nobody out, and now Ozzie Smith, who singled and literally stole a run in the first. After his single, he stole second, stole third, and scored on a green bounce out, is up here 1 for 2. That hit is his only one in the series, but he's batting with teammates at first and third. Runner at first going. Swing. Roller up the first base side. There'll be no play. He got the runner that went by at first. Durham with a good quick reaction. He had thoughts about coming home. When he saw he didn't have a play, he gave the quick motion to get Ozzie Smith.
Now watch Leon, thinking he's got a play at the plate. He does tag Ozzie, but he thinks he misses him, so he continues on with the play. He was called out first on the tag, so it goes 3 unassisted, but Leon did the right thing, not taking anything for granted. He completed the throw to first base, and now there's a little conference on the mound with Sandberg and Davis and Bordy. They're talking about the signals Bordy is going to use. This is the first time he's had a man at second base, so there'll be a new set of signals besides the one that Ruthven used.
All right, David Green 0 for 2. He's bounced out twice and he's driven in a run. The Cardinals have the lead for the first time. They've got a 4-run inning cooking, and they're in front of the Cubs 5-4. Speedster Lonnie Smith at second base. Green the hitter. Bordy looks back. Got the strike call. Hendrick due up next. Ruthven did 180 degrees from the 4th to the 5th. Started the inning leading 4-1. There's a squibbler past the mound. Sandberg got to come in. Throws and gets him on the play. Lonnie Smith moves over to third. That'll bring up George Hendrick, who is 0 for 10 in this series.
Just as Lonnie Smith was dangerous with men on the bases after having been held hitless, the same situation applies to George Hendrick. He's the #1 power man for the Cardinals.
And a runner at third with 2 down. 1 ball, no strikes. So Bordy in relief of Ruthven. Cubs will have to come back now to take Ruthven off the hook, because those 5 runs up there are charged to Ruthven. Set up outside, but he didn't go for it, and it's 2 balls, no strikes. With the weather changing for the better, the fans have responded to a businessman special here. They've got a good crowd. Strike, 2-1. 5 straight hits produced 4 runs, and they're still batting. Lonnie Smith at third. Hendrick the batter with a 2-1 count. 2-2. Porter is on deck. Hendrick is the 8th Cardinal to bat in the inning. Looks to third. He got Hendrick. Hendrick's 0 for 11 in this series. So by and large, Bordy did a good job. After Smith greeted him, he got the next 3 hitters. A 4-run inning on 5 hits. There weren't any errors. A man was stranded at third, and after 5 innings, it's turned around. Redbirds. Cardinals lead the Cubs 5-4. Horton is the new pitcher as we get ready to go here now to the 6th inning. The good-looking guy eating a hot dog is Joe Cunningham, who was the ladies' favorite Cardinal when he played here. Had a 10-year career in the big leagues. They've got him in the Hall of Fame downstairs here now. And he's done a heck of a job for this organization as their ticket sales manager. And you're going to go to another $2 million a year here.
We have a real good chance, Milo, to hit $2 million, and we got to start winning.
Well, I hope you start Friday. As Durham pops up to Van Slyke, who stayed in the game. Whoa, had to back up on that one. Ruthven, you guys looked like he was going to take care of you. He was rolling the first 4, and then all of a sudden, bang, bang, bang. But that's the way you used to do it.
Well, you know, the law of averages have to be with us a little bit, Milo. But, you know, when you get the ball up a little bit, only a couple times, you know what happens there. But there's a fine pitcher, and we're overdue to come out of this hitting slump, as you know. And so it's still an interesting game. But I tell you, by you guys being in first place, you know what that does to us. It helps us in our sales here at Busch Stadium.
When we come back in the weekend in June, it'll be packed here. Tell us something about Horton. We haven't seen him much.
I don't know that much about him, to be honest with you, Milo, but I know Waddy is very high on him, and he wants to find out right away, and he has some good credentials, and we need naturally some pitching, so we're taking a look at him right now.
Joe, good to see you, and I won't tell Stone what you said about him yesterday. If he'd have been in the league when you were, you'd have hit 350, but
Oh, you must be humble in this game, Milo. Thanks a lot.
All right, Joe, good to see you. Gary Matthews is the pinch hitter right here. Batting for Hall.
On the year, Horton 0-0, 270 earned run average, making his 5th appearance last year. Ricky Horton was in AAA all season. 10-6 with a 484 earned run average. He started 24 games out of 30 appearances, so he's used to starting. Now he's pitching middle relief.
Matthews fouls it off. He's hitting 360. Horton is their 3rd pitcher, following Forsch and Lottie. High fly ball, deep right center, but a high fly ball that McGee has a lot of time to settle under, and he does, and it's 2 down. Here is Hebner. He's walked and he's doubled. He's scored a run and driven in another run. Busch, who looked like he was on his way to his third loss, is now off the hook. Ruffin, who looked like he was on his way to his third win, is on the other side of the ledger and probably in that clubhouse trying to figure out how did it happen that quickly. This is Hebner, 3 for 3 in the series. First pitch is a strike from Horton. Sixth inning at St. Louis, and that's a ball to make it 1-1.
Horton is out there on the mound, but he has a string attached to his back, and Whitey Herzog is going to yank it quickly. He's got Neil Allen standing there ready in the bullpen. So although he's a youngster,
there is a base hit into right field off the bat of Hebner. Oh, he's sizzling right now.
Everything he hits is going for a base hit. So Whitey will go with Horton for a little bit, but he's not going to let Horton get hurt. It's very difficult when you have young pitchers, and now Whitey is coming out, and he has called Neil Allen into the game. So I told you he had that string on his back. Well, it's just been pulled.
So with the hits even at 7 and the Cardinals leading by a run, Horton, who got Durham and then the pinch hitter Matthews, surrendered the single to Hebner, and just like that, Horton is gone, and the veteran Neil Allen is on the way and will become their 4th pitcher.
We saw Neil Allen Tuesday night. He pitched 2/3 of an inning, giving up a run on 1 hit. And the fans here don't exactly give him a warm greeting. He's the man who came over here from the Mets in exchange for Keith Hernandez. Everybody in this town is still lamenting the day they let Hernandez go. But Allen on the year, 1-0, 623 earned run average, making his 7th appearance. He's thrown 13 innings and given up 12 hits. He's struck out 6. He's walked 8. So the control continues to be a problem. And here's a guy who did a lot of starting last year for the Cardinals, and he threw very well. He was 10-6 for St. Louis, but he started 18 games out of the 25 he pitched in. And after being a short reliever for the Mets, they decided they'd stretch him out a little bit. But now they figure we'll give some protection to Bruce Sutter, so they move Neil to the bullpen.
All right, you've got a 2-out single by Hebner. Jody Davis is due up. Then you got Tom Verizor. And as we are at the top of the hour with Steve Stone, I'm Milo Hamilton with Cubs television from St. Louis on WGN Television 9 in Chicago, Chicago's very own and America's #1 sports station. 3 games in Pittsburgh, 2 in New York on this trip yet will be yours on Channel 9. Neil Allen got a couple more tosses coming here.
He's got a good curveball. That's probably his best pitch. He throws a fastball. Not quite as lively as some of the right-handers you'll see, but that curveball is the old equalizer. He throws it very hard. He doesn't change up too often on it, and he can buckle the knees of a right-hand hitter when that curveball is working well.
Jody Davis had a base hit in the 2nd inning and scored. 4th inning, gave himself up, bounced off to the right side, and got a runner over. Cardinals leading 5-4. Cubs batting in the 6th. Hits are even at 7. Nobody's made an error. There he starts him right off with that big jug.
And you saw Jody's reaction to it. It kind of froze him, and all of a sudden the ball just dove over the outside corner. A pretty good pitch for strike 1.
0-1. Hebner with a short lead at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. We are playing the Cardinals for the 6th time, and the Cubs have won 4 out of the first 5. One to Jody. High pop right side. Looks like it's playable. It's going to stay there behind the coach's box for Green. Side retired. No runs and a hit. No errors. Hebner left. And in the middle of the 6th, the Cardinals still have their 5-4 lead. Into the bottom of the 6th, Bordy is still on for the Cubs. And he'll be looking at Darrell Porter, Ken Oberkfell, and Willie McGee. They'll all be batting from the left side against the right-hander Bordy.
When we look down at Oberkfell at third base, there's a lot of people here in St. Louis that feel that Oberkfell right now is kind of on borrowed time at third. They'd love to play Andy Van Slyke every day. They can't find a position for him. Here's a 23-year-old with all kinds of promise, sitting on the bench most every day except when there's an injury. But Van Slyke is their third baseman of the future. He's got some power, and you'd like to have power at the corners if you possibly can.
That's one reason they're kind of leaning toward him. Obi's been around for a while, but he doesn't give you that big punch. This is Porter. Ball one. We said they had a good crowd responding to this good weather today. Over almost 27,000 in the house. 24,978 paid for this businessman special.
Darrell Porter was the first man that Whitey Herzog went after. He said in 1979 he had the greatest year he's ever seen a catcher have. 20 home runs, 112 RBIs, led the league in base runners thrown out.
He's behind him now. 3 balls and no strikes.
And he said in that 79 season all he did was catch 145 games, designated hitter in 10, pinch hit in a couple. He said he did everything but carry the water to the field before the game.
Whitey stuck his neck out. Got rid of a popular player, Ted Simmons here. There's ball 4. But an 82 with Porter guiding that club from his catching position. They won it all.
Well, he said that he would have loved to have kept Ted Simmons, but the place he'd love to play him would have been first base. And Ted was really reluctant to do that, and he felt Ted really couldn't throw in the National League consistently. He felt the game was shifting. It would become more aggressive. There'd be more base runners. Everybody would be stealing, and he liked Porter's defense.
And now, of course, Simmons DHs their runner going, and there's a bouncer toward third. Hebner looks, has no play at second, throws on to first, gets Oberkfell. So with the movement on the bases, the run and hit, and Oberkfell just slapped at the ball, got it to Hebner. He did the right thing. He did not have a play at second base.
A surprising move with a catcher, but the percentages are cut down because Oberkfell always makes contact. He hasn't struck out this year, so you figure he's going to hit the ball somewhere. He did, and Darrell winds up in scoring position.
And Willie McGee, who has singled, tripled, driven in a run, and scored a run, will be stepping in here with Porter at second base. 1 out in the Cardinals' 6th, and they are in front 5-4. Cubs led 1-0. Redbirds tied it at 1 in the first. Cubs went back in front with 2 in the second and 1 more in the fourth to make it 4-1. But then a Cardinal 4-run fifth made it 5-4. Came over the top with his breaking ball, but didn't get it in the strike zone. And it's ball 1 to McGee. Van Slyke due up next. Bordy in relief of Ruthven, who saw a 3-run lead disappear, and the Cardinals now lead at 5-4. Hits are even at 7. Fouled behind Hal Lanier, their third base coach, kicks down by the bullpen, and it's 1-1. Leave right after the game, get into Pittsburgh early this evening, spend the off day there tomorrow, then play 3 games with Chuck Tanner's Bucks. 1 ball, 1 strike. Porter with his lead at second. Two and 1 now to McGee. Cardinals trying to snap a long losing streak here today, and the Cubs started them on it last week at Wrigley and kept them going in the first 2 games of this series. At Hebner, looks the runner back at second, throws on, and got the fast man. Good strong throw by Ritchie, because McGee can surely get down that line.
Your responsibility at second base is to watch where the ball's hit, and if it's hit in front of you, you've got to hold up. Darrell Porter saw the play easily made by Hebner, stayed where he was, but Hebner shows you there's still some life in that arm as he fired to first to nip McGee. They're going to walk Andy Van Slyke now. Seen enough of him the last time he came up with that big pinch hit in the 5th. Now they'll put him on first and take their chances.
Wind's starting to pick up around here.
Neil Allen is going to bat for himself. They didn't have anybody throwing, so Whitey couldn't make a move. he thought that Neal showed some pretty good stuff when he came on the top of the 6th, and he's going to let him hit.
All right, the intentional pass completed to Van Slyke. So you've got runners at first and second. Walks put them both on, and now Allen will bat for himself as the Cardinals are in front 5-4.
With the pitcher coming up, you also get a break. Gary Matthews is playing very shallow in left, as is Dernier and Moreland in right and center. So even on a single, there's a chance you might throw out Darrell Porter. He doesn't run especially well.
1 ball, no strikes. Two on, 2 out. The 1-0 from Bordy. Down the middle for a strike, and the count is even at 1-1. Checking back, now delivers. And a looping liner will drop into right center. Off Moreland's glove, and it goes onto the wall. 2 runs are in, and Allen is going to end up at third base. Talk about it breaking out in a strange place. It just is.
The ball hits the top of Keith Moreland's glove and just keeps on going. And then when he tries to pick it up, he can't. Watch as it hits off the top of his glove. The Cardinals are off to the races. Dernier has the ball deflected away from him, and everybody scores. Allen winds up at third base, and the Cardinals tack 2 more onto that lead.
It is now a 7-4 ball game, St. Louis.
Fielder Lonnie Smith.
Here is Lonnie Smith, 1 for 3, drove in a run in the 5th inning. Runner at third, Neil Allen. Well, you got to hope maybe he's not used to doing all that running, and he'll get back on that hill in a hurry and have to work.
That was Neil Allen's first base hit of the year. He'd only been to bat 3 times, but that was a big one. 2 RBIs.
Hebner on the short hop. Throws out Lonnie Smith, and the side is finally retired, but Bordy paid for 2 walks. 2 runs on only 1 hit. No errors, 1 left. And after 6 innings, the Cardinals lead the Cubs 7-4. The Midas Touch Award is brought to you by your 60 local Midas muffler and brake shops. Tom Verizor filling in for Larry Boa at shortstop today. Got a chance to get the Cubs back in front. Gets a base hit. It gets Hebner home back in the 2nd inning. At that time, it broke a 1-1 tie. And the award for this play will be a donation to the Children's Memorial Hospital in Tom Verizor's name.
Caray and Steve Stone as we go into the 7th. Boy, this ball game is sure turned around since I saw you last, Steve. Here's a pitch swung on by Verizor, and he fouled it off. Neil Allen's first hit was a 2-run triple, boxed around in right center by Keith Moreland. The pitch swung, and he fouled tip. So the Cubs trail by 3 now. Tito Landrum now playing left field for the Redbirds, replacing Lonnie Smith. Neil Allen delivers high, a fastball.
Warren Brewster is throwing in the bullpen, and so that's going to be it, as Gary Woods is in the on-deck circle.
Now the pitch. Struck him out. He started a swing, changed his mind. The pitch was in there. Strike 3 call. 1 away. Boy, baseball. The unpredictability is its greatest fascination. Here's Dick Ruffin, your best pitcher. You give him a 4-1 lead. He hasn't pitched anything but well all year long. And this is the day he doesn't have it. Here's Gary Woods. And there's a strike call.
Woods is hitting .308 on the year. He's 1 for 3 as a pinch hitter, so that'll be the day's work for Rich Bordy.
There's a line shot in the center for Gary Woods, a base hit. So the Cubs trying to come back at him. Trailing by 3, we're in the 7th. Once led 4-1 going into the bottom of the 5th. I think Ruffin in the bottom of the 5th. In the 4 men he faced, made a total of 5 pitches. 4 solid hits and 4 runs scored. There's Bobby Dernier, the pitch. He held up, the pitch was high, ball 1. We need base runners. 1 out, Sandberg on deck. Activity in the bullpen, another left-hander getting ready.
Looks like Dave Rucker for the Cardinals.
Allen's pitch, swung on, a little looping pop fly will be caught by Oberkfell for an easy out. Dernier popped to Oberkfell. 2 out, here's Sandberg with Moreland on deck.
Second baseman, Brian Sandberg.
Sandberg 0 for 3 today. 2 out of 12 in the series. 2 big hits last night. Now to stretch the pitch. High fastball outside. Montreal scored a run in the bottom of the 6th off Dwight Goodman. Dave Palmer has blanked the Mets for 7 innings. There's a high pop fly. Easy out for Tito Landrum. Landrum under the ball makes the catch. Sandberg popped to Landrum. No run. 1 hit. No errors. 1 left. We go to the bottom of the 7th. Cardinals out in front 7-4. Caray with Steve Stone. We go on the bottom of the 7th, and Warren Brewster will be the new pitcher.
We've only seen Brewster once this year since coming off the DL with some injured ribs. He's making his 2nd appearance. Pitched 2 innings, hasn't given up anything. We saw him against Pittsburgh, and he threw the ball well. He's got to hold the Cardinals right here because Neil Allen is throwing the ball exceptionally well. And he's looking at a 3-run deficit here in the bottom of the 7th.
Unfortunately, bad pitch by Rich Bordy to a weak-hitting pitcher, Neil Allen. 1 for a triple. And instead of only being 1 run behind, the Cubs are now 3 back. Gary Woods is staying in the ballgame to play center field. So we have Matthews in left, Woods in center. Moreland stays in right. Ozzie Smith leading it off. A little bit low. Ozzie 1 out of 3. 2 stolen bases. 1 run scored and 1 run batted in. The pitch. Brewster's slider inside. Cubs have only 2 more chances. At the end of 5, Cleveland leads Chicago 4-0. The Mets just tied up Montreal in the 8th, 1-1. So they finally scored. Somebody finally scored off Dave Palmer. Two balls and a strike. The pitch. A little bit outside. The Malleys are here from Decatur. That's Scuffington country. Ball, they'll make that a strike call. Very slowly and deliberately, Stello came up with the right hand. Now the pitch. Swung and he missed, striking out. Ozzie Smith goes down swinging. He complained a little bit because that second strike Looked like it was an afterthought on the part of the plate umpire. They're here from Mount Zion, Illinois, and from Boonville, Indiana. There's a strike call. The Markovic family from Bellwood, Illinois, great friends of Yosh Kawana, enjoying the game. The pitch. Green takes it inside. Bill Markovic was Yosh's sergeant in the Army. Condolences to the families. He passed away last week in Bellwood, Illinois. There's a drive right field. Moreland going back. And he makes the catch over his shoulder. Racing into the right field corner. 2 gone.
Keith Moreland made a fine catch. He got a good jump on the ball, and David Green shows he's got tremendous power to the opposite field. There he goes, hauling it in.
2-men around. Here's George Hendrick. Hendrick hitless in the series. 0 for 11. Neil Russo, outstanding sports writer here in St. Louis, dressed like a redbird. Red jacket, red cap. I can see you're not pulling for the Cubs. The pitch swung and drilled like a bullet. There's his hit for Hendrick. A double to left. That'll bring him to Al Porter. So Hendrick really lined one hard into the left field corner. There's Porter.
The Cardinals seem to have broken out of it today. 9 base hits. They had a drought of base hits. They also were leaving a ton of runners on base, but today those 9 hits have produced the 7 Cardinal runs.
There's Porter. Almost hit him. Brewster with his team trailing 7-4. Started the swing, tried to check. He had gone around. Slice foul out of play.
Darrell said that he became a better hitter when he learned to take that inside pitch and fight it off. Just foul the ball off and wait to see if he could get a better one. And you saw an example there. He inside out at the pitch, put it into foul territory, and now he's going to take a look at another Brewster offering.
One and 2 the count. Porter 0 for 2 in this one. Hendrick had been stopped 0 for 11 until he doubled to left. There's a drive in the right field. Moreland coming on, makes a brilliant play. A fine backhanded stab by Keith Moreland. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. Watch it again. Fine play at the end of 7. The Cardinals are leading 7-4. Caray back in St. Louis. We're going down to the top of the 8th. Here's Moreland 0 for 3 today. Nothing out of 7 in the series. Cubs need a couple of base runners. Here's the pitch. There's a high fly ball, easy out left field. Tito Landerman, Willie McGee, and McGee makes the catch. 1 out. The Mets are batting in the 9th. Tied at Montreal 1-1.
Talked to Whitey Herzog about what he can possibly do when his team is in a slump, and he said you just sit on the bench and hope they'll hit. There's really not much you can do. You don't want to put any more pressure on the hitters.
Here is Durham, a curveball in there for a strike call. Durham nothing out of 3 today. He's 3 out of 11 in this series, facing his old teammates. He was acquired from the Cardinals by the Cubs. There's a curveball in there for a strike call. 1 out, nobody on. Had a good cut, but he fouled it back. Oh, that triple by Allen. That took the heart out of you. Just a careless pitch. Allen's first hit. Here's a pitch high.
It was a high fastball, Harry, and it made a guy who hits like Woody Allen look like Richie Allen.
Pretty good. Off the pitcher's glove. He recovers it and throws in time. Nice play by Neil Allen. We're gone.
Good reflexes on the part of Allen, who tips this ball, and it doesn't go far away from him. He's able to stay with it, keep his concentration. He knows Durham runs well and fires to first, so you've got to be the 5th infielder if you're going to be a good pitcher.
Here's Gary Matthews. 2 out, nobody on. Curveball in there, a strike call.
You saw by the reaction of Gary Matthews how good the curveball of Neil Allen really is.
Now the pitch. Low and outside. Whoa, he missed that 1.5 feet. Struck him out on a pitch into the dirt. And Allen was superb in that inning. 1-2-3, nothing across. We go into the bottom of the 8th. Cardinals leading 7-4. Harry Caray with Steve Stone. The biggest crowd of the series on his Businessman Special. It's only 2:30 here in St. Louis. This game is now in the bottom of the 8th. It started at 12:30. 24,978 paid.
Oberkfell started off all the problems in the 5th inning with a leadoff single. It looked innocuous at the time, but 4 hits followed that, and the Cardinals knocked Dick Ruthven to the showers.
Here's Oberkfell facing Warren Brewster. 7-4, the Cardinals lead. The Cubs beat the Cardinals 2 out of 3 at Wrigley. They're short of no worse than 2 out of 3 at Busch Memorial Stadium. They could still rally and make it a sweep, but they trail by 3 in the bottom of the 8th. Brewster falls behind, 3 balls, no strike. Seven to 4 Cardinals. Good fastball for a strike call. Ball game in the 8th. strike called. The Cardinals have had 9 hits. The Cubs have had 8. It's been an errorless ball game. Oberkfell hitting .226. There's a smash. Look at Sandberg. What a beautiful thing he is to watch. Easy out. He makes the toughest plays look so ridiculously simple. You know, old-timers talk about a guy named Charlie Gehringer as being so slick and smooth. If so, I guess that's who they must be reminded of by Sandberg's effortless, smooth, graceful fielding. Willie McGee swing off the pitcher's hand. Verizon throws too late. I don't know when that ball hit Brewster's glove or whether it hit the peak of his cap. Watch it.
The 7th infield hit of the year for Willie McGee, and he got the glove up, but it didn't get to Verizon in time, and Willie McGee shows you that wheels can earn you as many hits as your bat. He's in at first base with his 3rd hit of the day.
Here now, Andy Van Slyke. He signaled as a pinch hitter driving in a run in that 5th inning to turn the ball game around. Then he was intentionally passed before the pitcher Allen hit a 2-run triple in the 6th.
Jody's going to have an opportunity to test out his arm. McGee has got to go here.
Whoa, boy, they almost got him that time.
McGee has stolen 4 bases on the year, and he has yet to been caught.
Andy Van Slyke at the plate. Well, what a good-looking prospect this fellow is. But the Cardinals just can't make up their mind where he should play. There goes a runner, pitch out, there's a peg, and he is in there with a stolen base. Even with a pitch out.
Bad throw by Jody Davis. Sandberg could not get the tag down in time, and they guessed right, he was going. Jody takes a long time to deliver the ball. The throw is not good. Willie slides under it, and he puts the tag on his hip. So the 5th stolen base of the year for McGee. He still hasn't been caught stealing, and the Redbirds are doing what they do best, using the running game.
The key is what you said, Steve. He did take an awful lot of time before he released the ball. Van Slyke waiting. 1 ball, no strikes. Van Slyke is only 23 years old. Way outside.
Jody might have forgotten to take the pitch out off. That one Brewster almost throws wild. The Cardinals can put a lot of pressure on you if they get up in the ball game.
Montreal batting bottom of the 9th, tied up with the Mets, 1-1. Low and outside. Ball 3. Boy, Brewster, maybe just lack of work, but he sure looks rusty out there. Now they're going to intentionally pass it. And here's Neil Allen again.
This is probably going to be a bunt, and the infield now is getting together and talk about their defense. Reiser has gone in along with Hebner to talk with Brewster. So let's see see if they try to quiet the big bat of Neil Allen by making him sacrifice this time.
There's one out. Shortstop Verizon was starting to cover third. Bruce the World as if he wanted to make a throw to second, but there's nobody there to throw to. The pitch to Allen. He's going to bunt. Foul. 1 strike and nothing. Allen had been to bat 3 times previously this year and had fanned all 3 times. Before Bordy threw him a pitch letter high right over the center of the plate. They throw back this time, but the runner's there. Sandberg taking the throw.
Lifetime, Neil Allen had been hitting 102 with 3 RBIs for a career in 88 at-bats.
How many hits?
3.
Yeah. That's the guy that hit a 2-run triple. There's the ball. Bunted. It goes foul.
I take it back, Harry. It's 9 hits lifetime in 88 at-bats, a 102 batting average with 3 RBIs.
How many times he strike out?
That one they don't have here.
Here I thought you were just speaking from memory. I know how to hurt you. 0-2 the count. Tomorrow's an off day. We'll be with you at 6:30 Friday night from Pittsburgh. The ball bunted to throw to third. They're going to get him easily. Over to first. Safe. Boy, Hebner tried for the double play and almost got it. Force out.
Allen gambling with 2 strikes, lays it down, but he doesn't get it far enough away from Jody, who comes out. Now watch Hebner. He realizes that perhaps the pitcher was not getting down the line. He tries for the double play. It's just a touch late.
I tell you, Hebner doesn't hurt you any third base. And he really helps you with the bat. So the Cubs, there's a ground ball right to Verizon. Steps on second, easy out. Lonnie Smith hits into a force play. No runs on the ball, that. 1 hit, no errors, 2 left. At the end of 8, it's do or die now for the Cubs as we go into the 9th. Cardinals leading 7-4. Caray back at Busch Memorial Stadium as we go into the top of the 9th. Now the Cubs have been showing resiliency all year long. Let's see if they can do it again. Here's Hebner with a perfect day so far. A walk and 2 hits. 1 RBI, 1 run scored. He bunts down to third baseline. Allen's peg is, just in time. Bare hand pickup by Allen is what made the play.
Allen has trouble getting this ball in his hand. Hebner almost beats it out, and Richie would have liked to have put it a little bit more down third. Watch Allen. Has trouble getting it. He finally does and fires a strike to David Green.
Not a bad play on the part of Hebner either. There's Bruce Sutter getting ready. Here's Jody Davis. Curveball for a strike. Jody 1 out of 3 today. Wowin. And the count evens the ball and a strike. Dick Stello made a nice pickup. Hebner trying to take advantage with Van Slyke playing very deep. He knows the Cubs need base runners. Curve low outside. Off day tomorrow. We'll be on the air from Pittsburgh at 6:30. Look at that Allen with a nice play again on a hot smash. Boy, he's had quite a day.
In the last 2 innings, he has retired 3 men on balls hit back to him. Bouncing one off the glove, a good bare hand pickup, and now a relatively easy play, but Allen is fielding his position well.
Number 11, Ron Say.
Here's Sagan about. Say won the ball game with his glove after winning it with his bat in the first game. He's had 3 homers this year, 10 RBIs, hitting .233. Now the pitch. Strike call. Do you think there's any significance to the fact that Buckner hasn't been used?
Dallas is still down here, Harry, and he's not accompanying us to Pittsburgh. I don't think he came down here for the Sporting News luncheon, although it was a nice event. Dallas could have read about that in the paper.
0-1 the count. That evens it up. Allen has gone almost exclusively to his overhanded curveball. Had a good cut of the fastball. Ron Say.
He's going to see that curveball right here. That's been Allen's most formidable weapon today, and Allen has everything going for him. This is the best outing in the last 2 years. Neil Allen throwing the ball well.
The pitch. High. That evens it up. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cleveland leading the White Sox 8-1 in the 6th. There's a base hit for Say. Hit the ball sharply. Cubs are not dead yet. Here's Gary Woods.
Center fielder, Gary Wood.
He pinch hit and single in the 7th and then stayed in the ballgame.
Buckner has grabbed the bat, and if Woods can stay alive, Buck will come on. Bruce Sutter still loosening up in the bullpen. Mike Rourke down there with him talking about that split finger forkball, the one that stayed up so much last evening. But Bruce is suffering from lack of work.
So here's Gary Woods. Takes it high. 1 ball, no strikes. Cubs trying to bounce back here with 2 out in the 9th. High ball, 2. 2 balls, no strikes.
I think if Woods gets on, you're going to see Sutter against Buckner. Great confrontation.
Ball 3. And Neil Allen unhappy with himself. Allen has worked. 3 innings plus an out in the 6th.
Darrell Porter went out. He wants to get Bruce a couple of extra pitches, but he's ready in the bullpen. And Allen's now standing at the mound. He realizes that this is probably his last hitter. I'd like to record a save.
3-0 pitch. Ball 4. He walked it.
Out comes Whitey Herzog, and I think he's seen enough. There's the motion to the bullpen. Now, yesterday, Buckner said he was looking for the split finger fastball against Sutter, but he threw him a regular fastball. He says that's very unusual for Sutter. So today, look for him to look for that split finger again and try to take it downtown.
And Bruce Sutter comes in. Now he qualifies for a save here because he's facing the tying run. Neil Allen getting a nice hand from the crowd. He pitched 3 innings. He allowed 2 hits. He walked one and fanned two. The responsibility for the two men on base belongs to him. The pitcher of record for the Cardinals is Jeff Lottie. The Cardinals went ahead when Lottie was still the pitcher of record.
Suter is 0-1, a 132 earned run average, making his 9th appearance. He's got 4 saves. And every opportunity this year before last night, Suter had come through for the Cardinals. 13 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 1 home run. That going to Richie Hebner. 5 strikeouts, 4 walks.
Here's Bill Buckner. First pitch, that split finger fastball outside, ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes.
Tim Stoddard in the bullpen for the Cubs.
Sandberg on deck. Ground ball, right field base hit. Here's a runner going to hold at third. They've got to play for the big inning. Here's Sandberg now. Buckner single to right, filling the bases.
Buckner got the split finger, and they're playing Buckner up the middle. He pulls it, and there you see Oberkfell just can't get to it, playing him pretty much straight away. Now there's going to be a pinch runner for Buckner.
Cotto.
Henry Cotto in at first, so the bases are loaded. And Sandberg, who we've seen before hit a grand slam home run, has a chance right here to put some hurt on the Cardinals.
The Cubs don't go down easily, do they? A wild pitch, a run will score. The runners have to hold because the ball hits the concrete. Bounce right back to Darrell Porter. What a break for the Cardinals, because that would have put the 2 tying runs in scoring position. At second and third, had Say scored.
You don't see this often, but the ball hits the bottom of the wall and comes right back to Darrell Porter. Now, Say doesn't know that the ball's going to bounce away, and he doesn't want to get thrown out at home.
Inside, ball 2. 2 balls, no strikes. Henry Cotto running for Buckner at first. Gary Woods at second. Ron Say at third. Ball 3 into the dirt. And Marlin is on deck. 3 balls, no strikes. Will they turn him loose here? Strike call. Sandberg digging in. Smash! Foul ball. Boy, that would have cleared him.
That wasn't foul by much, and that would have taken everybody off the bases. Van Slyke playing him right on the line. Still had no chance of getting the vicious line drive up the bat of Sandberg.
Everybody will be running now with a pitch. Any kind of an extra base hit would tie the ball game. Even though the Cubs are down by 3, the bases are loaded. 3-2 the count. There goes everybody. Here's the pitch. Bouncing ball foul. He's still alive. That was a funny play. Say stabbed the ball. Of course, he was in foul territory. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Watch it again. Ronnie might think of playing third without a glove. He makes it look easy. He reaches out just with the batting glove and pulls it in.
3-2. Everybody going. Here it is. Swings and he fouls it off. He may have chased a bad ball.
It's tough to lay off that split finger fastball because it looks like a strike and then dives, and Suter throwing a pretty good one here, having trouble keeping it in the strike zone. That was ball 4, but Sandberg had to protect the plate.
3 balls, 2 strikes. Bases loaded, 2 out. There go the runners. A little tap, got a chance to beat it out. And And he does. A base hit. 7-5. The base is loaded. Here's Keith Moreland.
RBI number 13 for Sandberg, and Van Slyke was playing him deep. He was trying to guard against the double. Sandberg doesn't get much into it, but gets enough for his first base hit of the day. Nothing for Van Slyke to do except hold it. And now the bases are still jammed.
The pitch. There's a drive in the left field, going to be caught, and the game is over. Boy, Moreland hit the heck out of the ball, but a line drive right at Landrum. You can't hit the ball much harder. Just didn't have enough arc to go out of here. 1 run for the Cubs, who leave the bases loaded. 3 hits, no errors, and 3 left. And so the Cubs, who won 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals in Chicago, have also won 2 out of 3 from the Cardinals in St. Louis. Actually, the Cubs wind up out hitting them in total hits, 11 to 10. Well, a thrilling ball game, and again, it shows you a little bit about the character of the Cubs, the way they fought back here in the 9th inning. All right, we'll be back in a moment. Caray and Steve Stone back at Busch Memorial Stadium, where the Cubs had hoped to complete a sweep over the Cardinals, had to settle for 2 out of 3. If you can win 2 out of 3 in every series the rest of the year, they'll be flying a pennant on the flagpole at Wrigley Field.
Well, Harry, I think we can look back to one pitch out of a lot of pitches here today.
Yeah.
And the pitch by Rich Bordy to Neil Allen really hurt it. Put 2 extra Cardinal runs on the board. That turned out to be the difference. But the good thing about the Cubs today, they still had a tying and winning run coming to the plate in the 9th inning.
And I tell you something, the pitch that Moreland hit was a pitch he could have hit out of here just as well. It was if it was the split finger fastball, it didn't break down. It hung up there, and Keith really hit the tar out of the ball. A line drive directly at Landrum.
Well, the 2 times we saw Suter, he wasn't throwing the ball as well as he could. He recorded his 5th save today, but he was fortunate. We could have just as easily have won this one. But the team keeps fighting. They're playing good baseball, and almost without exception today, they executed well once again.
You know, it was Bertie Tebbets, I think, who originally said about baseball that it's a game of inches. Just remember now, Ryne Sandberg's smash, inches foul with the bases loaded, which would have scored all 3 men.
Well, that can happen, but then Rhino came up and did get the key base hit. But if you're going to lose the game, it's good to lose the last one after winning the first 2.
You know, it just shows, though, the unpredictable fascination of baseball. If you would have told me that we were going to get 5 runs with Dick Ruthven pitching today, said it's money in the bank. You're going to win all 3 games. But today, unfortunately, Ruthven hit an inning, the 5th, when he just couldn't get anybody out.
And the Cardinals on the other side of the field had a very good performance out of Neil Allen. He looked as good as we've ever seen him look, and he kept the Cardinals right there. So they had some pretty good pitching, and this club's a better club than they've looked. They'd lost 7 in a row. You got to figure they were due to break out of it. Unfortunately, today was the day.
I tell you, to make sure that the Cubs stay in the winning gear that they're in right now, I want you to pitch batting practice tomorrow in Pittsburgh so that everybody keeps his eyes, Steve, and we'll see you Friday.
Okay, Harry, take care.
All right, it'll be a night game Friday night at Pittsburgh. We'll be with you at 6:30. Quickly now, the totals: 7 runs, 10 hits, no errors for the St. Louis Cardinals. The winning pitcher is Jeff Lottie. The save goes to Bruce Suter. Lottie's record is 1-1 for Suter, his 5th save. For the Cubs, 5 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. And Dick Ruthven is the loser, and that makes his record his first loss of the year. He now is 1-2 and lost 1. With Steve Stone, hoping you enjoyed the telecast. Knowing that you didn't, if you're a Cub fan, you'd have preferred to win it. This is Harry Caray, wishing you all a very pleasant good afternoon from Busch Memorial Stadium, where the biggest crowd of the series, proving that day baseball is still very much alive, thank you, saw the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Chicago Cubs in a thriller 7-5. See you Friday night from Pittsburgh. So long, everybody.
Our participating advertisers in Cubs baseball were Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Brewers of Michelob. Some things speak for themselves. Zenith and your local Zenith dealers. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on. United Airlines. You're not just flying, you're flying the friendly skies. Canon, the official 35mm camera of the 1984 Olympics. Union 76 and your neighborhood Union 76 dealers, who invite you to go with the spirit of 76. Toyota's exciting cars and trucks for 1984. Toyota invites you to see them at your local dealer. And by True Value. The more you've got to do, the more you need True Value hardware stores. We've got what it takes.
Our next televised game will be between the Chicago Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates Friday night at 6:30 Chicago time. Our executive producer director is Arnie Harris. And this has been a WGN Television 9 sports presentation.